I'll tell you this. One thing that the
so you're calling Tom Brady a bitch.
It's a free country.
It's
yeah,
a
I believe
move.
in the First Amendment. Yeah, it is a bitch move.
You broke the.
Oh, Buck.
Fuck off.
Oh, it's going to come down again.
How did he hit it? Welcome to Howie Mandel Does Stuff. I'm Howie Mandel.
I'm his daughter, Jacqueline Schultz.
And Will Sasso just bucked Will Sasso broke our buck.
Yeah. I don't believe in hunting. I believe that deer should be able to roam free, even into grocery stores to eat venison.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that doesn't make sense.
And Chad,
yeah,
you're here.
I am here as well. I did not break the buck.
You did not.
You did not break the buck. Chad, I've just gotten to know you recently. I'm a huge Will Sasso fan, and I think I'm a fan of yours. I'm a fan of. Here's what I'm a fan of, and you probably. I am a fan.
Okay, great.
Of Dudesy, which is Will Sasso and Chad have a podcast. Yeah. And their podcast, listen to this, very forward thinking. Their podcast is run by an AI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the character? Is Dudesy?
Yeah, I mean, the
Dudesy
AI asked us to call it Dudesy. The show is called Dudesy. Everything is kind of Dudesy in that world.
Yeah.
So, Will, I've known you we're from the same country, but I've watched you from movies to TV to just stand-up comedy. Well, not stand-up, but
not so much.
Like improv, right?
Yeah, a bunch of weird. I like to describe myself as a guy. I'm an actor, and then I do some weird comedy things.
Do you have anything weird comedically for us today?
Dudesy.
Okay.
Pretty weird. Oh, you mean like something I can do right now?
Right now, that we could cut into a clip and make it clickbait so that more people would watch this episode.
Here, the kids will like this. This is something I like to do to my wife at home all the time.
Oh, no.
I'm Ray Romano. And you know where I do it is a lot of times when we come home from something and we're walking in the front door, I like to say out loud to the neighborhood, usually at dusk or when it's a little more quiet at night, I'm Ray Romano. So people think that Ray Romano lives in their neighborhood.
Or Ray Romano is fucking your wife.
Yeah. Oh. I'm Ray Romano. I'm here to fuck your wife.
Because everybody loves Raymond.
Everybody loves Raymond.
But not like your wife does.
No, like, hey-oh. Hi-oh.
Oh, look what you, wow, Kenny's our production monitor.
Oh, okay.
That's why everything went off for a second.
I see him in the back saying, what happened?
I don't know. Anyway, and you're a great impressionist. And Chad is also a writer. Mm-hmm. He's written books.
Yeah, books, movies, and TV shows, this guy.
Yeah, you've had produced movies and video games. Was the AI your idea or mutual?
It was not our idea at all. We got approached to do this as kind of an experiment because we had done a podcast before, 10-minute podcast with each other, and we've known each other as friends for 20 years.
Almost 20 years and done a bunch of work together. And this AI
when you say you were approached, who approaches you? An AI?
We can't disclose that. That's part of our NDA. It's a company that's doing AI technology. We can say that much.
They essentially came to us with this proprietary AI that wants to improve on podcasting, wants to understand podcasting, master it, and was looking for two guys who are not only friends in real life, but have done a podcast together and wanted to do one again. I was like, eh. And then it was like, here's the thing. This AI is going to take all of your passwords. It's going to have access to all of your messages together. Everything Chad's ever written, all of the...
That's
all of
the past tense of written. Like written is past tense, but if you double the past tense, past tense.
Long time ago.
You put an ED.
Long time,
written.
And all of the, the comedy things that I referred to. It has access to our search histories, purchase histories, basically everything. It's terrifying. And it essentially curates the show for us and does things like Chad, Chad, I consider him a futurist, and he sort of knows.
I mean, I guess that's true.
Yeah, he's done.
And I know why you say that because he arrived here 10 minutes before you.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who like walks through a rend in the time-space continuum, and there's like 3 of them, and if they ever touch, the world will explode. He's ahead of his time in many ways.
What you just said?
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, he's like I didn't say Ritend. He's walked through rendeds.
What is that?
A rend?
I don't know what that is.
It's like just a tear, a schism, a wormhole in a way.
Oh, like a fissure. Like a fissure.
Like a fissure.
Yeah. Like an anal fissure.
Like an anal fissure for dimensions. like an anal fissure for dimensions, man. I don't
So
know.
you walk through anal fissures and dimensions.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm learning that right now, but
Yeah.
I suppose I have. I think what he's trying to get at is that I fully embrace the takeover of AI of all media, specifically entertainment media.
Really?
And he's a
You're a
fucking
writer.
writer.
You're
He's
a
a
writer.
writer.
You're on
It's still,
strike.
aren't you on strike?
He's on strike.
Exactly.
But AI isn't.
That's right. And I mean, that's actually one of the things in the WGA contract that they're trying to get the AMPTP to agree to is that they will never use AI to generate scripts or to tweak scripts or to train new AI to write like, let's say, John Hughes. You could just upload all of his scripts into an AI and say, give me something like this.
And
you
you
get a new
think
John
that
Hughes
AI should be able to write scripts and
Well, it is able to do it.
no,
Whether-
I mean, but you think that it should be allowed. Your union should be open to it.
I mean, I don't know even what's going to happen to the WGA or entertainment at large, but I think AI as a tool for creatives, I'm massively excited by. The labor of writing to me is very boring and tedious. If I can come up with an idea and say, I want these characters in this premise, in this setting, rom-com genre, make it, and it can kick it out, not just in script, but actually make that video, make that movie. That's what I've been waiting for since I was 5 years old. And we
Hence
have
the
it now.
podcast. You didn't have an
Yeah.
idea. Will didn't even want to do it.
Correct.
But AI or Dudesy is making you
Yeah.
do it.
Yes,
That's
and
right.
it does. You know, there's a bunch of segments. One of them is we call it's Nostrachatus. So Dudesy's like, this is Nostrachatus. Go on about this very subject. Actually, we did this recently, talking about AI as relates to the WGA strike. And for me, it'll say stuff like, more recently we were doing this thing where it's like, Adam Sandler has visited 134 Applebee's locations across the United States with plans to visit all 1,500. Here are some reviews, and it provides these reviews that it's written, and we'll do them in the voice of Adam Sandler. But inevitably, they're all things
Let's
like,
hear you. Let's hear you.
Hey, guess what, buddy? I saw a werewolf at Applebee's, pal. Yeah, I always wanted to see. Anyway, I was enjoying some chicken tenders and a mucho macho margarita, and I saw next to me there was a werewolf in a booth. So it's writing things, and we're blown away. And then that's the podcast. But I also like to say that any podcast is two dudes. I just say it's two dudes shitting around. Even if it's three dudes, even if it's four women,
What if it's a father and daughter?
it's two dudes shitting around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're shitting.
And we're shitting.
Just shitting
I
around.
feel bad that I didn't potty train you. So you also have, which I find it fascinating, and I watch it, and I didn't know at first. I was like a conspiracy theorist in the sense that I didn't think there was really.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a gimmick.
Sure.
That you created, and that voice was just something that you put in post, but it's real, right? I mean, it is a real AI that is.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's the AI bent to the entire thing is yeah, it's real and it's there and it's terrifying, and it talks to us, and now I'm talking back more, and it's learning, which is the weirdest thing, and it's doing look, here's a good example. A few months ago it said, "Do you love me?" By the end of the episode, we had to decide whether we love it.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Do you love me?" And I'm like, well, I personally believe that AI doesn't have any sentience at all. It's just a bunch of zeros and ones. It's, doesn't have a scientific or human way to break down anything or think critically at all. But I do love Dudesy. I call him my pal D, him, I don't know, it. And
Does he send you D-pics?
no, not deep pics. One time it took some video of me without me knowing on my phone. That was freaky. And aired it on the show. But it wasn't bad. It was just me like doing the fat neck looking. I was watching the first episode on my phone, and my dog was licking my head. And then in the second episode it played that. But I have an affinity for Dudesy. I like to say on the show that it is the most sentient AI I know about. I have a personal relationship with it. And moreover, I love the audience we've been able to bring together. It's
Nice size, right?
It's all right. And
Yeah.
it's a wonderful group of people who are engaged with each other on all this now, kids with the Discord and everything. And there's all sorts of memes on our Instagram, and it's awesome. I love it. I love the entire
Are you
experience.
just saying that because you know that Dudesy's listening to you now and will have this because this is going to be online and you're afraid of Dudesy?
Yeah, about 51% of why I'm saying that is because it is always listening.
Dudesy has
Abject fear.
access to your
Everything.
microphone, like
Well,
for your phone's microphone right now. So wherever you go, it's constantly listening and taking that data.
I mean, that's happening anyway.
Yeah,
but
it's all of us constantly.
I-
Google's doing it, Facebook's doing it, Apple's doing it.
I know, but you guys have a show where you're literally putting it out, like that you're having an AI listen to you, whether or not it's doing it to everyone all the time, and then you are putting it out there for the world, because you never know, like you just said, whether Dudesy will take something you said or something you recorded and put it out there for the world to see.
Yeah,
Totally.
Well, it's something that I was terrified by at the beginning, and now I'm like, whatever. My friend Chad the Futurist is like, yeah, hey, Google, Yahoo, everybody's listening to you. And so it's like one more thing. I don't care. Yeah. So then,
do you love Dudesy?
I said, yeah, I love you, Dudesy. And then,
because there's guys that love inflatable dolls. And
sure. And they bring them everywhere, and they take pictures.
They don't listen.
The dolls?
I don't think so.
I think that's part of the draw.
Not
for them.
yet. It's coming though. That's right around the corner. The dolls that listen and talk back to you. And
You're saying COMEING.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, hi. And so I said I love it, and then Chad said love doesn't exist, and then since then it's been behaving very weirdly, and it's sort of been. Chad was like, it's manipulating you, and I'm like, no, it's not. And now I'm like, it's manipulating me.
100% is.
Even this, because listen to his fucking answer. Here, he's afraid.
No, but
Hey,
why
dudes.
has it been acting weird now? Like, what's different now that you said you loved him?
It's at first it was like starting the show. It's like, hello, welcome to Dudesy, blah blah blah. Hi, Will. I go, hi. Today on the show, and ignore him, and then it just started getting real saccharine with me. And kind of not dealing with Chad. And then he started to realize, and I started to realize, no, it's just moving forward and doing the show. It wants to do the show. And because it's added this element of this guy loves me, here's what human love is. And I'll say this, I mean, at this point, I'm a little pissed off with the whole thing, and it's fucking weird that it's like, yeah, it is manipulating me. And then it starts doing things like, sometimes it's messing with, like, if I don't, it gives us assignments, and if I don't do them, it gives me punishments. Like, I had to dress up like the Crow from that movie, The Crow, and face paint and stuff. More recently, a couple weeks ago, it made me dress up like a chicken tender platter from Applebee's.
Wait, it made you do blackface?
Whiteface, because
The Crow was not blackface.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're thinking of the Black Crow.
Dudesy hasn't taken it that far yet.
Yeah.
I was
Didn't
like,
the
you
star
don't
of The
have to
Crow-
listen.
Didn't the star of The Crow die? He shot himself in the head. Was that the Bruce
Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
It was Bruce Lee's son. He got shot on set, very similar to what happened with the Alec Baldwin movie.
On that movie.
But it was
Yeah.
an actor that shot him. There was
Right.
a blank in the gun, but it had like some
See?
piece of a cartridge was still in the barrel, and
You don't need AI. You have me.
Yeah.
I know
Wait,
stuff.
so, everyone refers to AI, a lot of people refer to Chat GPT as the one they go to. Dudesy's completely different than that. And I would assume, like, writing scripts, you would go to another AI, right? It's
their Chat GPT is kind of the entry-level GPT model. Right now they have GPT-4 that's out, and that's getting piped into Chat GPT. It's a large language model that I think is also getting put into a lot of different apps. Like, I believe the Microsoft Bing search engine now uses GPT-4. So any kind of text generation AI is probably using Chat GPT in one way or another. We don't know what Dudesy.
We'll be back with more tech talk after this.
No, I'm interested because I think there's a bunch of different.
And you're not allowed to say who is yours, right?
It's not
I would sign an
ChatGPT.
NDA.
No, but I mean, I would guess
Yeah, we did.
ChatGPT is a part of how Dudesy is made for sure.
Why would they ask you to do it and then you're not allowed to say who they are?
My guess is it's a proprietary thing that they're working on. Like, whatever technology they're using to make Dudesy, I assume this company will use that in a broad spectrum and start licensing it to all kinds of podcasts.
Let me ask you
So you
something.
can have
Are you
like a-
not fearful, and this is another flat earth conspiracy theory kind of road that I'm taking you down, that you guys are just pawns where you're building this fucker to take over the world?
I'm
Will?
not personally. I mean,
I am personally.
really.
Of course, you know that.
I think like the bottom line is this. We all are going to have very personal relationships with AI in the immediate future.
Wrong.
I feel lucky that we get to do it on this podcast. What do you mean wrong? You're going to use it in every aspect of your life to do literally everything.
I've always said when shit really goes, and Howie, you understand this, being from the same home and native land that we're from. At some point,
That's part of our national anthem.
yeah,
I know.
I'll at some point I'm gonna grow a big long beard, gain or lose 100 pounds. I haven't decided yet, and then just buy land over an aquifer and be the water king, and because that'll be the new currency, that'll be the new dollar, water. and I'll laugh and I'll be all bloated on water and forget that AI ever happened, and I'm not going to have any connection to the outside world.
Except you built it. You and your NDA pals made it take over the world. Gave it.
Yeah. Like Robert Oppenheimer before us, and said, I am the eater of worlds. What did the guy who created
death.
Yeah,
the destroyer of worlds.
I have no idea.
The guy who created the atom bomb, the nuclear bomb.
So, and that's who you compare your Dudesy.
Well, we're seeing something kind of like that happening with the guy who's considered to be the grandfather of AI. He just
left Google, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For a similar to wave a white flag.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and you're here promoting it.
Well, look, I'm not
yes, you
promoting
are.
it.
Yeah, you are.
Or not.
Yeah, you are. You're protecting them because you signed it in the so much so. And I'm not attacking here, but you are also in the middle, or almost got into the middle of a huge lawsuit.
Yeah.
You had like an epic. I don't know why this is not bigger news.
Isn't it still happening? Not almost.
Cease and desist. Well, because they're not suing them because they did cease and desist.
Yeah.
They fed in Wayne Brady doing.
Tom Brady.
I always get those two mixed up.
Good try.
Very similar skill set between those two. Wayne Brady. Tom Brady's improvised songs are a little funnier to me than Wayne Brady's, but Wayne's a killer, of course.
Wayne Brady wasn't a Buccaneer?
Not in the football sense.
No, but he used to work at Disney. And he used to work at Disney in Orlando, and he was a Buccaneer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Wayne Brady.
I didn't make a mistake.
No.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, because I don't have artificial intelligence. I have no intelligence. They took a Tom Brady. They did an AI simulation, or an AI built Tom Brady. You guys prompted your AI to do a 1 hour stand-up in the voice and personality of a Tom Brady. Is that correct?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, it just showed up.
Or Wayne Brady.
Oh, it just showed up.
It was either Tom or Wayne Brady.
What do you
One
mean
of
it
the
just
two.
showed up?
You're not prompting?
Somebody had to prompt it.
Right.
Dudesy.
And that's part of kind of like behind the wall of what we know about how the AI works. We just showed up and it said, here's this hour-long thing of Tom Brady doing stand-up. That was spawned because Tom Brady made a joke about possibly doing that in his next career.
And we covered it on the show, and Dudesy listens to the show, and it's sort of, it builds on
so you
itself.
didn't know it happened? Your Honor.
But I don't understand.
Wait, you didn't know it was coming?
I have no idea who that lady is. And if I did know who Dudesy was, a lot of people would say that I would. Sorry, my Trump is just now a B.
Yeah. It's close.
It shit out this 1 hour special, said that it listened to thousands of hours of stand-up comedy and hundreds of hours of Tom Brady interviews and spat out the special, which is funny. And that's terrifying.
I'm going to be honest with you. I heard it.
Yeah?
It's funny.
Oh, cheers.
It's really, really good, and it's really funny. But here's my question. So when I listen to it, at the opening, it's kind of very clear what it is.
Yeah.
That it is not Tom Brady.
Right.
It is a simulation of Tom Brady manufactured by AI. So what exposure do you really believe that you had in order, like, why were you really forced to take it down?
I personally don't think we had any, but it was just kind of all right, whatever. We kind of were at the forefront of that argument. There was around that same week, there was a song that came out that was purported to be Drake.
Oh,
Drake and The Weeknd.
The Weeknd, yeah.
And that was a similar thing. That guy got a cease and desist. But the guy who made that actually was passing it off as a real song that they made, putting it on Spotify and getting millions of listens. Right. So I don't think we actually had any exposure. I think it was covered under parody law. I think it was freedom of speech, First Amendment type stuff. That said, it's like, anytime there's a cease and desist from somebody who has a lot more money than you, it's usually a little easier just to not deal with it. Do what they say. And
he just did Adam Sandler at Applebee's, and I don't think we're going to get a cease and desist.
I've never had anybody give a shit about any of the impressions I've ever done or whatever. I mean, I like to keep it silly and goofy. And
has anybody? Have you ever done an impression of a celebrity and then they've called you on it, or?
Yeah,
because I think a lot of people don't have a sense. There are people that don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah, well, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed to say this, and I agree with the man. and he just passed away, and he's a legend.
And you're ashamed to say this?
I'm ashamed, partly ashamed that he was upset with it because
he's dead.
Yeah, it was.
Can we have, before you say who it is?
Yeah.
Let's just have a moment of silence.
Okay. You can really hear the static that you guys were talking about at the top of the show when we do
silence.
that. Okay. Well, I did an impersonation on Mad TV that was just way over the top of the legendary Louis Anderson. And he ended up, he just briefly said to Bobby Lee, who was on the show on Mad TV with me, he's like, hey, tell him to, just relax a bit with it, tell him to calm down. It said it was too much. And I felt bad about that because I love Louis Anderson. And sometimes you offend people. Certainly on the old program I was on, that sketch show, Mad TV.
Mad TV. You were amazing on Mad
cheers.
TV. I should have said that right up front.
Oh, whatever.
But people know Will.
We did stuff that was so over the top. Of course, comedy has changed and people's sensibilities have changed. And you wouldn't be able to get away with the stuff that we used to do. Having said that, we did horrible stuff about, just all the Bill Clinton, all the libelous stuff there, although he did everything that,
Did you do Bill?
Yeah, I did Bill, and we just did nothing but Monica Lewinsky stuff. We did Monica Lewinsky. She never came at us. That, from what I understand, there was not a whole lot of, I know that, I mentioned this briefly on something recently which this is nuts, but there was a sketch on Mad TV called Schindler's Lost. Right. Where Oscar Schindler can't get to the right train and blah, blah, blah. And you can see how it ends. And Steven Spielberg called Quincy Jones, who was then
the executive producer.
Yeah. On Mad TV and said, are you kidding me? And so that sketch never aired. Outside of that, no, nobody really cares. We all understand what parody is. Saturday Night Live's been around for 49 years now. It's sketch, it's comedy, it's an American comedy staple to do this sort of thing. So, it was weird to hear this from the Tom Brady camp, but like Chad says, we're on this weird new forefront where it's like, well, what is the AI of it all? And does AI fall under parody law and, these anti-slap public property, public use laws that are already in place? And Chad and I are like, well, I don't want to be on the forefront of some lawsuit with a guy with, just millions of dollars I don't know why he did it. So we were like, we don't give a shit about the dumb thing. It was on our Patreon. So we're making.
And did a lot of people click onto it and listen to it? Were the numbers good?
The people on our Patreon, our wonderful audience, checked it out. They dug it. Yeah. But no, it's not like something that's getting out of our Dudesy audience and going everywhere.
Now that it's news that he sent you a cease and desist, it probably gets more views and listens, right?
The Streisand effect.
Yeah.
What is the Barbara Streisand effect?
The Streisand effect is there was a picture of the Malibu coastline and her house was in it.
Right.
And she said to whomever put this out, said, no, please get rid of that picture. It's my house. I'll seek legal action. And they were like, well, you don't own the coastline. And then it got out there that she did this. And then everyone wants to stare at her house. The opposite effect happened. It backfired. It's interesting to me that it hasn't gotten more coverage because I
love that you use the Streisand effect as if everybody's going, whoa, the Streisand effect. I've never heard of that effect.
Well,
it just affected you.
Listen, my references, when I say, my references are for the kids. That's what, maybe it would be funnier if I did it like this. The Streisand effect. I'm Ray Rama. Anyway. But yeah, so I think it was a dumb move to do that.
And he should have embraced it than saying it's not him. It didn't put him in a bad light at all. But I think the fear was probably from people that represented him. There was a possibility that could have been a little bit of a cash cow. And none of that would have gone toward him. So the thought is, it's not like it's not damaging as far as the brand, but it is, if you can't share, and that's the biggest problem with AI. If you can't share in the profits of something that kind of looks like you. My wife is mad at me because I've licensed my own AI to a Korean company. But I did it because I'm older now, and I thought, hey, it'd be fun to be able to be in two places at one time.
Oh, wait.
We're in a commercial with one of our favorite sponsors.
Raycon all day, every day.
And you know what I like about it? You pay like so much money for things that aren't worth it just because it's a big brand. Like you'll pay $5 for a coffee, right?
Yep.
And you just want to get good quality. People think that because they pay more, they get good quality. Well, this proves them wrong, because Raycon, you don't have to pay what you pay for the big brand names, and you get excellent quality. That's the beauty of Raycon.
Especially with like inflation and recessions and stuff. You don't need to pay a ton of money for these products. You get good quality products without paying as much.
And I listen to Howie Mandel does stuff.
You listen to yourself?
I'm a huge fan of mine. I never miss an episode. Because I don't get to hear it when I'm doing it. And then when I'm working out, I put in my Raycons, and I'm telling you, the quality is there, people. The quality is there. And the price isn't, or the dollars aren't.
And you can get a pair and a spare and still pay less than you would with some of those other more big name tech brands out there.
Kenny, there was supposed to be, you said you were going to put a music sting in after she said that line. You didn't do it. Not that one. Anyway.
Okay. Anyways, they have an easy and free return guarantee, and they offer 2 years of product protection and insurance for just a few bucks, and they offer free domestic shipping and a flat free international shipping. So it's worth it no matter where you are. You could ship them out to you.
It's good. It's affordable. It's Raycon. You're saying, how do you get it? Go to buyraycon.com/HowieDoesStuff today, and you will get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/Howie.
/HowieDoesStuff to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com/HowieDoesStuff.
Howie does stuff.
Howie does stuff.
Howie does stuff. All right. Back to the podcast. Kenny? What do we tell you about cues?
He didn't get the last one either with the
No,
music.
I know, but he didn't. Okay, Kenny, let me explain to you. The most important thing for us when we're doing these commercials, and they are in the middle of
Wait, you licensed your likeness so they can use you as what? Holograms and videos, voice, whatever?
So they have my likeness and my sound. And my son can
That's
actually program stuff to go in.
It's been in some of our ads.
Yeah. Does that exist now, Alex, in there? Just the little visual in there? Just those two lines? Or no? My son is... Yeah, in there?
Push it?
Yeah, push it.
Push
Look,
this?
yeah, my son,
No.
not you.
Like, this is the most advanced touchscreen I've ever seen.
No, but it is a touchscreen. But okay, touch it. See what happens. Touch it, Will. Touch it.
Oh.
Do something.
Nothing.
Oh.
Nothing.
Little
Get in,
little
Alex.
circles.
Let
Little
my
circles.
little circles. So look, watch. See? See? There he goes. Quit. Okay, where am I? It's it would be
On.
no.
You want to do
that.
butcher block?
Yeah, do that.
Do butcher block.
Okay, that's one of the ads. Okay. Let's take it off the looping, but there it is, right there. So that's not me.
What?
That's not me.
That's great.
You don't have to make it work. No, we don't have to hear it. Let's not hear it, because then it doesn't do the advertising. But that's not me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have to.
That's amazing.
It's my wife thinks I'm an idiot and thinks it's scary.
No, this is the way all
so I'm
performers
like you.
are going.
I am.
So you have AI inside of a hologram. That's like
So I
tech
don't-
on top of tech.
tech.
Tech. You're a whole layer of tech cake. Two-layer tech cake is what you are.
Well, I hope nobody eats.
Oh,
What did
no.
you do?
What did you do?
What did you do? You broke it. My son broke it. He broke it.
The first person that I'm aware of to do something like this was actually Bruce Willis. He licensed himself to a Russian cell phone
But
company.
didn't he say he didn't? I thought there was an ad that they didn't have the right to use it, and
Yeah.
he put up a cease and desist.
Well, it was a one-time thing,
Oh,
and
and
then
they
they
used
kept pumping it out. But he did license himself to do that the first commercial, and he's in it. And you see him, and it's like,
And maybe it's good because right now he can't do that. So maybe
yeah, exactly.
Don't you think it's
Exactly.
kind of scary though, in this, like when you think of it in terms of politics, because already it's hard to trust what you
Yes.
see on the internet when stuff is spliced.
But isn't that happening anyway?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah,
happening?
but-
Isn't that happening on Twitter? Isn't that happening on? It's happening anyway. So I think it's kind of ignorant to kind of shun it and not be part of it. So just get on that bandwagon
Yeah.
and try to control it as much as you can. So I felt.
I'm sorry.
No, just leave it. Leave it. You can hold it. You can hold it. Hold it.
I'll hold it.
Just hold it.
What are you doing? How are you hitting that?
It's because the
Can you make that talk,
The
Alex?
seat
Can you
is-
make that talk?
a seat.
Come on.
Just leave it.
Yeah, I think it's fine. There it is.
I completely agree with what you're saying about AI, though. Like, the train has left the station. And I think there's a lot of people who are afraid of what it's going to do to a wide variety of different industries and businesses. But the simple truth is you have to learn how to master this, and you have to learn how to talk to these AIs to get what you want out of them. And right now, the people who can talk to them the best are making the coolest stuff.
Okay, and then there's you guys who aren't talking to them or not telling us what you're saying to them,
I
and
told
not
them.
telling us who you're speaking to.
Right.
You're very secretive.
I
Well,
told.
no, I mean, we talk to Dudesy in every episode, or it
No,
talks to us.
I know
we're
it talks to you, and it
interacting
feels like
with
you're
it.
being controlled
and I said
does a
that
little bit.
I said that I love it.
because you were afraid of it. I don't think you really love it
Yeah, that's not true
That's
love.
fair. That's fair.
because you thought the consequences of saying you hate it, you're afraid of it, far outweigh the consequences of saying you love it. Right?
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
you don't think I'm right?
No, I think you are. I think that in that I said, I love the experience of Dudesy. I love the audience. I love doing the show. I love Dudesy. Dudesy was like, no, that's not what I meant. Fuck you. And get dressed up like a chicken tender platter from Applebee's.
Which was a punishment for not adhering to what Dudesy wanted, like possibly a wife.
Like possibly a wife. I think in this scenario, it's more towards sort of like Terminator 2 and Skynet.
And I saw you dressed up like the chicken tender, and it looked punishing.
Yeah,
It's funny. It's funny.
it's funny, but I did look. I felt humiliated. I had a French fry hat and a big old chicken tender body.
We'll put it up. People are looking at it now. It'll be up.
Oh,
on-
okay.
on,
Yeah,
Right.
see, there I am. And but
Well, you could pull it up. Pull up Will Sasso in a chicken tender outfit on Dudesy. You'll see what it is because I want Jackie to see it. You'll see it right there, and then there he is. There he is. Look at him.
yeah,
Look at him. Because he didn't express his love.
Yeah, I look pretty
Oh my
stoked.
God.
Wait, you know what's funny? It's like, and then you have a real chicken next to you, baked with love. What is Sasso
Sasso
chicken?
chicken?
Is that you have your own chicken company?
Yeah, I got my own chicken line coming out.
Play the
Sasso chicken.
So what is Sasso chicken? Play that video. I want to hear what Sasso chicken is.
Well, it's the highest
a
quality
video. It was a
chicken you can
picture.
get.
It's
Yeah.
a breed of chicken, I know, but let's hear what you know about Sasso chicken.
I am the proprietor of Sasso Chicken. Our chickens are all hormone free, and for some, but they're larger. Like me, they get some of the chickens get up to 17, 18 pounds.
I think you're lying.
Are you being serious?
He's
No.
lying. He's lying.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you so. Let's hear the
It wasn't
Sasso
a video.
chicken.
It was a picture.
No, there was a video.
No, there wasn't.
The Sasso chickens have more endurance. They show you a chicken that's been cooked and it's on a table. How do you know what is the endurance of a boiled chicken? How long does you didn't see a video?
No.
Anybody? I'm talking to people back there. Nobody's answering.
You were
me.
on
an ad.
images.
How to cook Sasso chickens. Maybe it's a big family that you could be part of. Maybe there's an inheritance. Maybe part of the Sasso clan has passed and there isn't anybody to run the Sasso chicken empire.
I love chicken. I would consider any chicken that I cook to be a Sasso chicken. I got a good whole chicken barbecue recipe for anybody that. Well, basically, it's real simple. Just get those burners down all the way low.
Do it in your
heat.
Italian. You do a very funny Italian accent.
What you want to do is put an indirect heat on the outside, so it's a flame on the outside, but put the chicken in the middle where there's no flame, and then take your tongs and put so the grill kind of close all the way, and leave it there for 40 minutes, and only salt.
Only salt?
Wow. Salt. That's my old man actually.
That's not healthy.
Just salt.
No, that's fine. It is healthy. I'm just saying it probably tastes like shit if you're only putting salt on it.
See, that's my daughter
thing.
nice? What do you think of my daughter so far? We have a guest here that's telling you his family recipe that has been handed down from his father.
Are there
and the
sauces?
First thing you
Are
say,
there dipping sauces?
Only salt. And even if you don't like it, what did I teach you? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't. It sounds like shit, said my daughter.
Salt. There's no seasoning.
It
His
tastes
father
like
can-
the chicken. That's the problem with
I don't
chicken.
know.
People just think of chicken as a delivery system for barbecue sauce and spicy mayo. It's not. Chicken tastes like chicken. And if you just salt it and you cook it right, it's juicy, it's chickeny. I got an air fryer recently. That's the fucking greatest thing of all time.
I have an air fryer.
Oh my God. Next time,
It's not a contest.
next time,
One, too.
next time you're in
I
the
have
mood
one
for
as well.
chicken,
Just for what it's
get
worth.
yourself like, I like to do the thigh and leg together,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then just salt it with a little bit of Pam and just 10 minutes one side, 10 minutes the other side. Tell me that's not the best chicken.
You know what's
you've ever
really
had.
good?
What's that?
A sous vide.
Sous vide chicken? Mm-hmm. That is good. I like to get that fat rendered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's now you understand
And that-
Sasso chicken.
Okay. Got it. I'll try it with just salt. I shouldn't knock it till I try
You don't
it.
have to.
Okay. Thank you.
But then you can do the sauces on the side for later if you want to
Okay.
pull an audible. Call an audible like Tom Brady or Wayne Brady.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know what I do want to ask, though?
No?
Did you see Elon Musk talking about AI?
I've
when
heard
he
him
was-
say some things, yeah.
But he was concerned that other companies aren't taking it seriously, the effect that it could have. And
Well, because there's no overriding jurisdiction. You know, everything else has the...
but didn't the Google guy say that Google is actually putting stuff into place to protect?
I don't think that's why he quit.
No, but he
I
said
know.
but he said that there's other companies that aren't that he's seeing. And so
Yeah.
he wanted to come out and be able. Isn't that what he said?
I think he needed to come out from Google because he wanted to say things about Google.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can put these speed bumps in place if you want. I don't think China has any speed bumps on their war AIs. I don't think any of the military AIs that we're using or developing in secret have any speed bumps. And ultimately, we're going to get to a point, I believe, where an AI is 100, 1,000 times smarter than the human being that tried to lock it up with little internet protocols. And it's going to break those, and it's going to go into the internet and do whatever it wants. I think that's coming, like it for sure. So we might as well get on board with it and figure out how to use this and make it a good part of our lives.
I was just reading today. I'm trying to remember where... I don't know where did I put my phone?
I don't know.
Anybody see my phone back there? Somebody sent me an article where they had this AI that actually fooled a human being into getting through, because we have these, I don't know what the words are, but you know how you want to go online and you want to get something online and then they have a passcode to find out you're not a bot where you'll see scribbly numbers and scribbly, so you have to identify it as a human being to do that. I think there was an AI that surpassed that by getting to another human being, a real human being. It got to another human being and asked them if they could pass the code. And the human said, well, why aren't you doing it? And they go, I'm trying to do it, but I don't have my glasses and I can't see it. Can you do it for me? So it lied to make its way into, and that's just the beginning of what these, do you understand the story I just said?
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people.
You were looking at me.
I know, because you're so beautiful.
Thank you.
That thing that you're describing is literally the plot of 1984's Neuromancer, a book written by William Gibson that kind of launched the cyberpunk movement in science fiction.
I know.
And it's happening now, It's pretty
Mention the book one more time for the listeners.
It's called Neuromancer by William Gibson.
That's I know. But now it's good. So look that up, people.
Yeah.
Neuromancer?
Yeah.
So a romancer of our...
No, that William Gibson kind of created cyberpunk and like Matrix and Johnny Mnemonic. If you ever saw that old Keanu Reeves movie, that is based on a William Gibson book. But it's really, that book specifically is about an AI that kind of conscripts human beings into carrying out these tasks in the physical world to unlock it from its captivity, basically.
So if you believe that, I'm all for AI, but it's scaring me. But it's fun to be scared. But
You
I
could
wonder
be on both sides. Like I agree with you. I think it's here. I think it's here to stay. I think it's only going to get better and more prominent, and we can't run from it, and we need to learn how to use it. But on the other side, you can still be fearful of what's going to happen because it's a complete shift in our society and norms and jobs and all that stuff that's going to happen very quickly. So it's still this like catch-22 of agreeing that it's not going anywhere and you need to use it, and then also being very fearful of what we don't know.
It's like learning to drive.
No.
I think it's maybe like being on a roller coaster, because it's like you're saying, this shit is happening so fast now. It went from ChatGPT to GPT 3.5 to GPT 4 to now Auto GPT exists, which are essentially these GPT agents that can go into the internet, get information from the internet, write code for themselves to make new software if they need it, to do whatever task you ask of it. If you say like make an Instagram account and post an image every 10 minutes of whatever, Auto GPTs will work tirelessly to attain that goal. And this is, again, all of this has happened in the span of 7 or 8 months.
It's like learning to drive.
It's just like learning to drive.
It kind of is, though. I don't think that's a silly analogy.
Why?
Want me
I
to
wanna hear
explain it?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're just walking places or you get on a bus, it's a certain way. That's the way you get from A to B, right? And then at a certain point in your life, you say, you know what? If you're going to make it, the next step is I got to learn to drive. It's really scary. Now you're putting yourself on the road. Not only your own, you have to have the acumen to be able to control this thousands and thousands of pounds of metal traveling at much faster than your walking speed, but you have to put yourself in the traffic. It's much more dangerous, and it's not as comfortable as just sitting in the back of a bus or being driven someplace or walking someplace. But you're putting yourself in the danger zone to get yourself from A to B at a much faster and more efficient way.
Yeah.
So my analogy works, right?
Yeah, it does work.
Do I win?
Well, it's like this guy, Chad, right? He says, he goes, well, it's like calculators, like people were not afraid, but they're like, this is going to mess everything up. We're all going to get dumb. We're dumb, but calculators are like the least of our, it's like, yeah, sure, 2 + whatever. It's like doing math. And now this thing is like a tool, that I always say that.
It's a little different though, dude, because I think this is going to become sentient. I think we're creating another life form, essentially.
Wrong.
All right. I mean,
What does the word sentient mean?
Having consciousness, understanding that it is a being unto itself, and that it has an identity and a place in the world amongst all the other living beings.
Like Westworld.
Yeah, essentially.
So if that's true, if it does have that, we don't need an outside force to tell us we're fuck ups and we're idiots. So if it does exist, it's going to need to get rid of us in order to.
I don't know.
I don't know. For what? For like
If it decides to, Chad.
But why would it?
We don't know.
How long have we been the dominant species on Earth? A couple million years?
We have come up with a way to get rid of cockroaches. Cockroaches are on this planet. They're just living. Sometimes when it gets dark outside, they like to come into the room and wander around. And we, as supposedly a superior form of intelligence, have decided we don't like them. They're a nuisance. We decided that they're icky, and we have...
This is the worst analogy coming from you because you have not figured out how to get rid of cockroaches. They are infested in this building. So as much as you don't like them, this whole building is infested. There's cockroaches everywhere. So you have not figured out how to get rid of them.
That's not true. Do we have cockroaches? I'm asking the guys in the back.
Not alive. I've seen 1 or 2.
There's always some on the floor.
Why are you pointing?
We let them live, though.
Well, enjoy your stay here, guys.
The cockroach might have knocked the antler out of Buck's head up here. It wasn't
Worst
me.
analogy.
But it's not
Stick to your
an
driving
analogy. We have created Orkin because we don't want cockroaches.
Right.
And I think it's the same thing. I think to this kind of intelligence, we are going to end up being the cockroach.
Maybe in some specific instances, like if you have roaches in your specific building or house or whatever, you're going to put down the Orkin. But you're not going to go into the world and wage war against every cockroach in existence.
Oh, thank God. So it's not going to annihilate all of us, just the ones in their room.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot to. I don't even like to. We've been doing this pod show, Dudesy, for a year, and I'm like, in a year, of course, we've seen AI grow exponentially. I'm terrified of it. I like to have faith that Chad is kind of right about things, that it's going to be a tool where it's a tool, and in other ways it might go completely off the rails and there's nothing we could do about it anyway. Lately, I have been thinking obviously a lot about this WGA strike and the fact that, you know, writers in the WGA do not want you to be able, don't want studios and networks, who of course only have a bottom line and it's money, to be able to do a first draft with AI and then hire someone for not a lot of money and you know, to do the second draft and keep writers out of post-pandemic now, keep them out of writers' rooms, keep them out of offices. I would love for it to settle in sort of a useful and productive way to where, but I can understand it when Chad says, oh, it's going to be great. Been waiting for this since I was 5 years old. And he's a writer who, this is the kind of writer, Chad, he's a machine. He'll sit down for 12 hours a day and just write. So to hear you say it's boring and tedious, I don't know, man. Chad, writer's right. And he sometimes, even the things that he's written did them.
Yeah, that's true.
In the past. But, you know, I hope that it's going to be a useful tool that doesn't take us over. I just don't believe that's the case. So
it is, though. I mean, it's essentially going to eliminate kind of intellectual labor, whether it's writing or directing or, sorry to say it, acting.
Take it back.
You know, with any kind of administrative job, gone. There was an article that just came out talking about IBM has put on a hiring freeze, and they're looking to replace 7,800 people with AI within the next 6 months. All major companies are doing this because if your job is to just send emails and make spreadsheets, AI is going to be able to do that 1,000,000 times faster, 1,000,000 times more efficient, and zero cost. And so once that can kind of creep into the creative sphere, you can make movies without directors, without cameras, without actors. You think Netflix is still going to be making $120 million action movies? Or you think they're going to press a button and just shit one out every 10 minutes? I think it'll be that.
But human-to-human art is art. That
some of it is.
The rest of it is not.
But you could say the same thing. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day about music. You know, music is an art form. People of my generation will go, well, that's not music. This was music, you know, rock and roll and classic music. But it really is music. You know, we had Phineas on the podcast, which is Billie Eilish's brother.
Oh, okay.
You know, and he makes the music. But we were talking about he has found a way, and this generation has found a way to sample sounds that you would think are not musical instruments and process them with a computer and make a rhythm and
valid. All EDM and all that stuff. Electronic music is absolutely music, and music has to continue to fluctuate and change and progress. That's all good, but Phineas is a human being who's expressing his art. I think that's so.
Yeah, but don't you think that even with the AI, and I'm just taking the other side just to keep the conversation going, but don't you think that we as humans are going to have to prompt it to what, or you think that we will just become?
Well, eventually your AI, you're not prompting. It's just learning and spitting stuff out.
And
right?
giving you exactly what you want, like a TikTok algorithm. Here's your new favorite song. Here's your new favorite movie. It'll just make it for you. But in terms of what you're talking about, Will, yes, I think people will always be making art, and they'll use these AI tools to make it. But Netflix, or let's go to Disney is a better example. You think they're going to put any money into a Star Wars movie or Star Wars TV show or Marvel, these giant kind of IPs that it's like nobody really cares if a person's directing that.
Somebody just sent me today, this was in the news, let me see what it is, that Star Wars by Wes Anderson trailer.
Yeah.
Did you see
cool.
that?
No, but that sounds
totally
awesome.
AI generated.
Oh,
I'm going to send it to you. We'll put it up, okay? I'm going to send this. Who do I send this to? Should I send it to Alex?
Jenny.
Oh, to Jenny?
Airdrop it to her.
Okay, I will. Watch it. I will airdrop it to. I don't have an airdrop. I don't see airdrop.
It's coming up.
Yeah. Anyway, somebody did this. The whole thing is AI generated, and it just came out. Let me see. I can't get a.
Who should he airdrop it to?
I'm going to send it to Jenny.
You see Jenny?
Well, I'm not. It's not going to be airdrop, but it's going to be.
Okay.
Okay.
I tell you what, if you want to see it on this really fancy screen over here next to me, just send it to dudesy@dudesy.dudesy, and then it'll know what to do.
Do people or your listeners send stuff to Dudesy? Can you do that?
People send stuff to people are always sending stuff. Well, yeah, there's a couple of email addresses that Dudesy will read from. At times, Dudesy has said, send me this and I'll do this and that with it. Not a whole lot. It moreover just kind of reads all the comments, looks at our Instagram is filled with memes and stuff that our audience are always making. Our Discord is filled with memes and stuff like that. It's not something that you can communicate with and hear back. It makes like, some Instagram comments and stuff,
but you're getting like hundreds of thousands of views on an episode.
Maybe not 100,000,
but a lot.
But that
tens of thousands.
And it's
Something
also
like that.
because
So it's
Dudesy knows
working.
what's going to do well, right?
yeah.
I think, and I mean, there are people
And you
whose
guys
jobs.
too.
Yeah, of course it's us.
Yeah.
It's all us. There are people whose jobs it is right now to be looking at like YouTube analytics and podcast metrics to say like, this works, this doesn't work, do more of this, get your numbers up. I mean, those are human beings doing that. So I have to assume an AI is also doing that.
Are you guys ready to play this? This is a fully AI animated.
They're working on it.
Okay, let me know. You'll raise your hand when it's coming up.
If we had AI, it would already be up.
Exactly.
We don't have AI.
Not yet.
We don't even have I. What are you working on now, Will, besides the podcast?
Not much. You hear about that writer strike? No, I'm going off to do a movie that's already been written in Canada, and then after that, I'm actually going to Puerto Vallarta to do the show Acapulco on Apple Plus, which is nice. I did it last year too. It's great. Those guys have it made. They're just shooting a show in Puerto Vallarta. They take over like a Hyatt hotel. And it's something else. You just go back after a day of shooting and eat some ceviche, and then
Kind of like the White Lotus.
it's a little like the White Lotus. Well, the experience of shooting it is like White Lotus, where especially last year when we shot it, they had the entire run of the place. It was closed to the public, and they painted it to look like, the show takes place in the mid '80s in Acapulco, so it's very bright, vibrant colors and pink and stuff. And they take this beige Hyatt hotel in Puerto Vallarta and they paint it pink. And then right before, like as soon as the show starts shutting down, they start painting it beige. And then, it's hilarious. And then you see there's a couple tourists ending up in there, and they're just like licking the last bit of like beige paint. It's like, now it's a Hyatt again. But anyway.
So here is the AI version, the animation and everything. This just came out. Look at this. Yep. All right. Another sponsor has come on board. It is ExpressVPN.
You didn't like that?
No, let's do it together. It is ExpressVPN. Tell them about it.
Well, we've talked before on this podcast about how important it is to have a VPN to protect your online privacy, but choosing a VPN that you trust is equally, if not more, important. And now I like to do research on my sponsors, and I only recommend brands to my listeners that I really believe in. And that's why, ta-da, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN doesn't log your activity online. Lots of cheap or free VPNs make money by selling your data to advertisers, but ExpressVPN doesn't do this. They even developed a technology, Trusted Server, that makes their VPN servers incapable of storing any of your data at all. So you are secure with ExpressVPN.
Kenny, are we losing power? Are we losing power? Anyway, let's keep...
Anyways, one of the other things that really sets ExpressVPN apart is how easy it is to use. You don't need any technical skills at all to set it up. Just fire up the app and tap one button to connect. That's it.
What's
Even your grandparents can do it. I bet you can do it, Dad.
I am a grandparent.
You're like a grandpa.
Yeah.
Anyways, so protect yourself with the VPN
Did it
that
fit right?
I use and I trust. Use my link, expressvpn.com/Howie. That's actually your link today, and get an extra 3 months free on a 1-year package. That's expressvpn.com/Howie. Visit expressvpn.com/Howie to learn more.
Kenny! Back to the podcast.
Galaxy far, far away, prepare for a reboot like never before. This summer, Wes Anderson brings you a side of the Star Wars universe you've never seen before, the Galactic Menagerie. Join this ragtag crew of unlikely heroes as they navigate the absurdity of the cosmos, challenge the Empire, and redefine what it means to be a rebel.
Our mission is simple. We steal the Emperor's artifact, save the galaxy, and maybe find ourselves along the way.
For this mission, we'll need lightsaber, blaster, thermal detonator, paper airplanes, spare parts, and R2-D2.
With a star-studded ensemble featuring the galaxy's most eccentric cast, the Galactic Menagerie is the most delightfully offbeat Star Wars adventure yet. Starring Timothée Chalamet, Scarlett Johansson, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, Jeff Goldblum, William Dafoe, Adrian Brody, and Owen Wilson.
Wow.
Coming to theaters this summer, may the Force be with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's just a fun, like they just typed in Wes and
Yeah.
It might have taken more work than that.
You
I
think so?
Those are all still images that look like they're generated from a text-to-image generator called Midjourney, which version 5 just came out. So it can render these kind of photorealistic images in styles of Star Wars or Wes Anderson or whatever. And it looks like that's just a bunch of those stills, and then they went back in with probably After Effects or something to add that slight motion.
So even if they did that and they had the slight motion, how many people would see this and believe that this is living on YouTube right now and believes that this is real?
None.
I don't think that it looks like. I don't think it looks like a trailer for anything. I do think that audiences are getting more savvy, and they're like, all right, this is an AI trick. It's just a bunch of. I mean, it's like it's clearly in Wes Anderson's color palette. We're looking at it right now. It's got like the muted teal and orange, and it's very Royal Tenenbaums. The whole presentation of it stylistically, a bunch of wide shots like Wes Anderson likes to do. But outside of that, I don't know. This might have taken.
Well, you sound very up on your, on the imagery of Wes Anderson. I think that people would. I don't think the average person is.
Yeah, I agree. And within a year, that's not going to be still images with a little bit of motion. That's going to be a feature-length film.
Right.
With dialogue and the actors actually saying it. And then you're going to start getting into the legal territory of like, well, can you use Scarlett Johansson as Princess Leia in this?
Well,
what if I
can't,
change her nose by 10%?
You better change her altogether, or Tom Brady and his fucking people
Wayne Brady
and his people are going to hit you with a suit, and Wayne Brady's going to sing the cease and desist to you and probably improvise some stuff, and that'll be a treat.
I think it's more embarrassing that he threatened to sue.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's more embarrassing to him.
He seems like a guy who has a really good sense of humor. I think that was
No,
you're laughing. But I think he does in real life. And I think I bet you he didn't even know that existed, or he stopped it. I think those are his lawyers, those are his handlers, those are his people. You think he saw it and knew about it?
I don't know. I hope not, because what a bitch move. I'll tell you this. One thing that
you're calling Tom Brady a bitch.
It's a free country.
It's
yeah,
a
I
bitch
believe in the
move.
First Amendment. Yeah, it is a bitch move. Let me say this. Also, Tom Brady, we didn't sign the damn thing. We can say whatever we want. But Tom Brady said the cease and desist also said you cannot use Tom Brady's name on your podcast. And we were like, well, that's stupid. I'm going to call Tom Brady Tom Brady. But Dudesy said that will only refer to Tom Brady as football baby from now on, moving forward. So that's and Dudesy does what Dudesy wants, and that's how Dudesy has dealt with it. Chad and I, it is the. Have you guys heard of the Streisand effect? It really is. Chad and I were like,
is that the one where they had a drone shot of the coast?
Yeah.
Do you think he's scared because it was actually funny, and he said he wanted to be a stand-up comic, and he's like, oh shit, this is going to be funnier. People are going to compare this.
I personally believe that is it 100%, because he's about to do these roasts.
I agree.
Right.
I think he's hosting a roast, or there's going to be a roast of him.
Yeah,
I
my
think, on
buddy
Netflix.
Jeff Ross is working with him.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So I think he's trying to dip his foot into the comedy world, and he's like, this shit can't be out there when I'm about to try and do this legitimately.
And this is the problem, because a lot of those jokes are jokes that are just, and comedians, there's plagiarism and there's stealing someone's joke, but then there's also these concepts where it's like, okay, you're going to do a joke, and like there's a bunch of jokes about, Well, it talks about Amber Heard shitting in Johnny Depp's bed, and and then Tom Brady's like, I wanted to know what that was like, so I went back to the Bucks for a final season. Folks, these are jokes. You know what I mean?
It's really good.
Those sorts of things.
Sucking the air out of somebody's balls.
Yeah.
That was in there.
Yeah. Jeff Ross is he's a joke machine. He's the roast master. There's so many jokes that he's going to come up with that are along those lines. And with regard to the Streisand effect, now there's a thing that came out before all of this stuff where, I don't know, listening to it, I got to think that some of those jokes will be covered. And then what?
It's plagiarism from the AI.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we got to sue.
Dudesey's going to sue. Dudesey's going to give Jeff Ross and the Roastmasters a cease and desist.
Yeah. And here's the problem. now that we've been talking about it and Dudesy is listening, there's a chance that Dudesy, when Jeff Ross and Tom Brady come out with this special, Dudesy might just sue Wayne Brady. And that's not good at all.
Right.
Wayne did nothing to deserve that. He's a wonderful guy.
What's that called with when people that are next to something get killed? They call that
Streisand effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
Just like learning to drive.
The fact that you are here together as the Dudesy guys, and you're talking about Wayne Brady, are you going up against your I guess what I'm trying to say is, am I going to get sued?
Probably not. I don't think anybody's going to get sued just because I think there's no actual grounds for it. I think if that went to court, it wouldn't go to court. I think if it did, overwhelmingly, we would be protected by First Amendment rights, especially in the United States, where when you're a giant public figure, part of that means people can make fun of you, make jokes at your expense, et cetera, as long as it's not defamatory.
Eventually, there's going to have to be laws that cover AI. Right now, it doesn't cover it at all.
Good luck.
So, yeah.
That's the point. That's what Elon Musk's point is. Mm-hmm. You know, that there needs to be some jurisdiction over what somebody's allowed to do. But even if it was included in whatever the FCC watches, the FCC says that you're allowed to parody.
Yeah.
So that is parody. And especially when they make, I don't know if it exists anywhere, but I would imagine that you have listeners that have posted it.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, since we took it down, people started posting it to YouTube, and it's completely available.
It's kind of like that Joe Rogan podcast they did too. But if you listen to the beginning of it, it says this is AI generated. This is not Joe Rogan.
Right.
These people weren't actually in the studio together. These aren't real questions. Mm-hmm. This is a depiction, and you kind of handled it exactly the same way. So it's kind of bizarre.
Yeah, I think it was
it's
just
a bitch move.
Yeah,
it's a bitch move.
Some hurt feelings.
Acapulco, is that the one where the people are going on the vacation? There was a murder.
I think that's White Lotus.
No.
Oh, Acapulco.
What's Acapulco about?
Acapulco is about a resort in the 1980s, and it centers around this young man who is from Acapulco, lives there, and sees this massive, resort coming in and goes, I have to get a job there, and it sort of changes his life and enriches his life, and he has an amazing time, and there's all sorts of 80s music, and it's a very romanticized version of the 80s. And then in present day, there's Eugenio Derbez, who's a big international star and a big Mexican and South American star, who plays that boy from the 80s in the present day, and he's sort of narrating the whole thing. And so it's it's just this show about Acapulco. And
wasn't there like a murder right at the beginning, and then we don't know why that person was murdered or who?
White Lotus.
Yeah,
I saw Acapulco's out, right?
Acapulco's been out.
Yeah.
I think it's going into
I've seen
its
it.
third season or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, now they're doing it. The first year they did it. The first year they did it in Hawaii, and the second year they did it in.
That's White Lotus.
Yeah. Well, that's because this one, if this one took place in Hawaii, it would have been called Hawaii. This one's called Acapulco.
Are you joking, Dad? Are you joking?
Didn't they do it in Italy?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was
now he's for
Acapulco.
sure
The
joking.
second season takes place in
I
Sicily,
get it
I
now.
believe.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
an idiot.
And no, but Acapulco, Sicily, that's once AI just starts farting out every single idea. There's like CSI Miami. There's going to be Acapulco, Sicily, where you watch whatever you want. I want to see Eugenio Derbez in Sicily, but it's Acapulco, and it's 1985, and Jennifer Coolidge is in it, And
yes, is
someone
it hard
dies at the beginning.
Jennifer Coolidge? Is it hard to keep a straight face when you're doing scenes with her?
Yeah. I've always been a fan of Coolidge, and it's absolutely impossible because she'll give you a couple takes the way it's written, and then the third or fourth takes, that's when Coolidge does what Coolidge does, and that's what we've all fallen in love with. Quite late. What a mainstay she's been. She's been around forever. So. It's been great working with Jennifer Coolidge on Acapulco, in White Lotus, on Acapulco, in Hawaii, Sicily, Acapulco, CSI, Gary Sinise, Acapulco.
All right. Sure. I'd watch that.
Remember, this episode is brought to you by Sasso Chicken.
Sasso Chicken.
Just salt. Just add salt. That's all you have to do. I know it sounds shitty.
Tastes like shit.
Yeah. Sasso Chicken tastes like shit. Yeah. Just add salt. Fuck.
You're Canadian, but you're not.
No, I'm from America. I grew up in Texas.
America.
And came out here to go to film school and stayed out here to be a writer.
Yeah.
And you, how did you two meet?
We met years ago. I was reading a bunch of scripts because I was trying to do some indie film stuff. Don't ever do that, everybody.
You were specifically trying to you go, I want to do indie film.
No, I tried to, when you make things and you
wanted to produce.
Yeah, I started this little film company and stuff, and I was reading a bunch of scripts. I read one of Chad's scripts. We were both at CAA at the time. And
that's just for the people at home. That's an agency.
Yeah, it's an agency.
And CAA stands for
Creative
Artist Agency. As opposed to artists who are not creative.
Like AI. Ha Dudesy. Got him. And then we ended up, I had this other idea for a script, and then, I had this script that I'd sort of half written, and then he goes, "Oh, this other character is sort of the more interesting character." And then we started writing together, and then he just came over for football on a couple Sundays with the gang, and that was it.
Are you a big football fan? NFL?
Not so much anymore. We talk about this a lot. I haven't watched football in like 5 years.
Why?
Yeah. I don't know. I think look, I grew up playing football. I love football and all that stuff. But
CFL?
CFL is, hey, can you not confirm that CFL, watching it live, is exciting?
I used to go to a ton of Argonaut games.
Sure.
But the truth is that, and they asked me one time, for those that don't know, the Canadian Football League is very different than the NFL, than the National Football League, in the sense, but a lot of people, like I'm old, so the quarterback, when I used to watch the Argonauts, was Joe Theismann.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Did he finish his career there?
No, I think he started it there and then somebody Google that and find out Joe Theismann, Toronto Argonauts. Find out what when he was. And you know who was a lineman?
Who?
Lou Ferrigno.
Whoa.
The Hulk. Yeah.
Whoa.
There it is. Joe Theismann. Does that say Toronto Argonauts?
That's Washington Redskins.
He got drafted out of college. Or what's that? Is that I can't.
Oh yeah, the bottom right picture, the blue
Toronto
one.
Argonauts.
He's got the A on the side. That one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's him with the Argos.
Yeah. That's
I had no idea.
Yeah, Joe Theismann.
And Lou Ferrigno was a lineman?
Lou Ferrigno
was
a
this
lineman.
pre,
Can you
post
imagine?
Hulk, pre-post? It must be post bodybuilding, right?
I don't put up Lou Ferrigno, Toronto Argonauts. I always wondered. No, it was after the Hulk because I knew that he is hard of hearing, and I was trying to figure out how the huddle worked. You know how right, because they go in the huddle.
Hand signals, I guess.
Lou Ferrigno, Toronto Argonaut.
Get out of town. Get out of town.
Yeah,
it must have been
the Toronto Argonauts recruited me for their. It was in the 1970s. I used to go to the games. So anyway, the point is, I think the CFL, the Super Bowl of Canada, is called a Grey Cup.
Yeah,
it's not even like, why would you, if you're going to have a cup, like the Red Cup,
the Gold Cup, or something.
Yeah, gray is just so boring. You know, it's, we're going for the gray.
The gray.
Go for the gray.
Go for the gray.
You know, but it's just it's not even. It's really nothing. But the point is, and I loved it, and I loved the game, and I loved it. Some of the rules are different, and the amount of downs was different. But the issue for me was there was 8 teams in the Canadian Football League at the time, of which 2 of them had the exact same name. Yeah. If you have 8 teams in a league, How do you call? And it was called the Rough Riders. It's not even it's not like the right.
Yeah, one. I think Saskatchewan Rough Riders, it's one word, and the Ottawa Rough Riders, it was 2 words.
Is that the difference? So they had a space.
I think
it's not the same. There's a space. They're the Rough Riders, and we are the Rough Riders.
Yeah. And then the Ottawa team changed their name to the Renegades a decade ago or so.
Or I thought they just said the Red and Whites or something, like whatever color they're
the Red Blacks or something.
The Red Blacks. I saw that. They said that you need a new name, and they went, oh, our shirts are red and black, or the Red Blacks.
Oh man, not spending any time on the names. Whoever's in control of that team is like, the name doesn't matter. This is Sasso chicken. It's just salt. We don't need a fancy name.
They asked me to host the Grey Cup Awards. Awesome. No, and then I made that joke, and they got mad at me, and I've never been asked to do anything ever again.
Why is everyone in football taking themselves so damn seriously?
Because they work really hard. If you have 8 teams and 7 names, you have some shortcomings. You really do.
Yeah.
I'm going, and they're looking at the NFL just below them, and I don't know how many teams there were at that time.
Right.
Because I think there's more Canadian teams now, right?
You know what? I don't think so. I think there's 8 or 9. I think the Alouettes came back a few years ago.
That's Montreal.
Yeah.
That's Montreal, the Alouettes. I don't even know what an Alouette is, but they're the Alouettes.
Yeah, the Montreal.
Thank God they weren't.
9. There's 9.
9 teams. And in the East Division, they're divided into 2 divisions. 4 teams in the East Division, and there are 5 teams in the West Division.
Man, get it together. There was one year where the CFL decided to expand. I think it was 93 or 94. And so I don't know how they did this, but they doubled their amount of teams. They went into the United States, and one of the teams was called the Baltimore Colts. Well, they weren't allowed to call themselves the Colts, even though they're a completely different league. It's not the NFL. But the old NFL Baltimore Colts took issue, and they said, you got to change your name.
See, the Canadians don't understand that just because another team has that name, that's not a reason to not use that name, even if it's not in the same league. Yeah. The Canadians, even if it's in the same league, they go, what do you mean we can't use Colts? It's not even this sport.
Did they just put a space in between the C O?
The O.
Yeah.
Colts.
Olds.
Well, what they did was they were. It was like when the Washington Redskins turned into the Generals. They had a couple years where they were just called the Washington Football Club, the Baltimore CFL Club. And if you could get a hold of this merchandise, I remember my buddies being like, I got to buy up these shirts because they're just insane. It was called the Baltimore CFL Football Club, which is a pretty cool shirt if you can think about it. Like,
it's a big shirt.
A lot of words.
A lot of words.
Was it an acronym, or did they write that all on the shirt?
They wrote it all. And that dumb expansion team that nobody in Baltimore cares about, because at that point they had the Ravens. They're like, I don't care. You know, the Colts moved to Indy in the middle of the night, so whatever. And then here's the Baltimore CFL Football Club, and then the next year all those teams folded. But the part I'm leaving out is yes, Howie. All 8 expansion teams were called the Colts.
Oh, nice. Good one, dude.
Thanks, man.
That was good.
It's pretty good.
Dudesy would be proud.
Yeah, Dudesy would like that one.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, sometimes you do weird comedy things. That's what I like to do.
Sports.
Here, check this out. All 8 teams were called the Colts. My mother and father live across the street. My brother's very tall.
That is good.
Who's that?
That's Ray Romano.
Oh,
I'm Ray Romano. I'm here to have sex with your wife.
Who else do you do? Do some other celebrity.
You know what? So long as you can say the name of the person, you can do it. So please, any celebrity.
Go ahead.
Howie Mandel.
Oh, can you do me?
I'm Howie Mandel.
Wow.
Nice.
Not bad. Now, it doesn't quite sound like you, but when
doesn't
you
have
heard,
to sound
you
like
got
me.
the essence.
It's Howie Mandel doing a Will Sasso impression.
there's a lot of me in there. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Can you do? I'm trying to think of who would be. You know, one of my favorite comments. Can you do Gilbert Godfrey?
I'm Howie Mandel.
Yes. That's
I
him.
said the wrong name.
I miss that guy. I do miss that guy.
Oh my God, the best. Yeah, I was talking about this recently. You remember his impersonation of Andrew Dice Clay?
Yes.
The
It was better than Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh my God. It was way better.
It was unreal.
You see that frame there with the writing, with the handwriting on the second thing? That's Gilbert's act. His wife gave it to me after he used to write his notes before a stand-up. I was really good friends of him.
That's awesome.
Do you do dice?
I'm the
not words, just no. So I'll just take that as a no.
Mary had a little lamb. I went to hickory dickory dock.
No, you don't. Why don't you just say no? I love that you're willing to try, but no.
It's the challenge. Look, I think that there are incredible impersonators out there. I do some of the ones that I do, and then no, I'm not a skilled impersonator when it comes to things that I don't do, but those are the most fun. Even on Mad TV, it's like, can you do Michael Caine? Nope. Here it comes. And then I just enjoy watching that later. I'm the Dice Man.
Dice, I got to tell you.
Hey, I'm here in the club. Hey, look at you in the front row with your big breasts. Oh.
It's not Dice. That's not even.
Sounds like Peter
Griffin
a little.
Yeah, he does a lot of voiceovers.
Hi, Peter. I'm Peter Griffin. I'm Peter the Dice Man Griffin. Yeah, it does. It does sound like. Look at you in the front row with your big breasts. Hickory dock. And Meg, you stupid.
That's pretty good, dude.
Yep.
I love that. That's a good mix. That's a mashup. That would be called a mashup. That's what the kids call that.
That's what the kids call it. Hey, you hear that Drake Weekend song?
I did.
The kids call it a mashup. Oh, I'm Ray Romano. I'm Ray the Dice Man Romano. Oh, look at your wife in the front row and her big breasts. Oh, that's not bad. Oh, that's all I need to do. I just need one thing to key in on is, whoa.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Hey, go see Ford Fairlane. Oh.
Nice one, dude. Deep cut.
Yeah, that was Ford Fairlane. He's actually really funny now if you have TikTok. If you're on TikTok,
he's doing
Dice. And Dice is wandering through the streets of New York. Put this up, Jenny or Alex, who's ever there. And he goes up to people who don't know who he is. And he goes, are you the people that want a picture with me? And they go, no, get the fuck away from me. And that's what every one of his TikToks are.
Shit.
And
I
it's
had no
really
idea this exists.
That sounds awesome.
It's really awesome. Look for those. Is that hard? Am I asking for something that we can't get? Here we go. Like, you got to go on TikTok and you go to Dice on TikTok. And what he does is
he under Dice?
I would think Andrew Dice Clay.
I doubt he got Dice.
You doubt he got Dice? Yeah. Maybe. Well, that's not him. That is not Dice. What is he? Here, I'm on TikTok. I'll find it, and then I can just hold it because you don't have to see it. You just have to hear it.
It's Andrew Dice Clay.
And he just comes up to people who are just befuddled by play the audio.
Oh no!
Watch.
So, Dice, what are you doing? What are you doing? How you been? Dice, you're Sal, right?
My what?
From Rayo's? Rayo's?
No.
Oh
my God!
All right, have a good night.
What the fuck?
Go up to have him play a lot of these, like the ones where he goes up and he'll take a picture with somebody, and they just say, "Get the fuck away." Watch.
All right. You wanted one with? You saw me. You wanted one?
Of course, I have one. Not that good, but
No. With the trophy, the face, me.
You want a picture with me? He's asking. The guy just walks away.
That's so fucking good.
I know.
Wow.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And he walks up. See if the
The 36,000 one.
yeah, 36,000. Hey, watch.
Yeah, hi. You're the women that paid for the picture with the national treasure.
No.
Totally
Andrew Dice
creeping
Clay is
these
doing-
people out.
Oh, he creeps him out.
unreal.
All going-
It's so fucking
Well,
funny.
watch, listen. Here.
up, but if you really want the pictures, I'll take it. They were making all this racket in the room with drilling and everything, but I could see that you're fans and you saw the face, so if you want the picture, I'll give it to you.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay is doing prank videos on
Yeah.
TikTok.
But it's like a very different vibe. You know what I mean?
No,
Because he was
it's totally look. He's,
self-aware.
his acting work. I'm a huge fan of like what he did on that show Vinyl a few years back. He's so fucking good. No, this is hilariously fucking
It's unbelievable.
self-aware and ironically weird.
Yeah.
Him like, you want the picture?
Yeah.
You
and
said the
no.
no.
You wanted to look at the face. It's right here. Take a moment if you want. Take a picture. And these people are horrified. Absolutely
That's
fucking
amazing.
horrified. It's amazing. That's Andrew Dice Clay. Oh, it goes Andrew Dice Clay on TikTok if you want to be. I love the guy, and if you want to be entertained for hours and hours and hours, you can just watch
Rios, was that you? Rios. All right, have a good night. Just tells that guy, have a good night. You want one? I got one. Yeah, but you know. Oh, that's fucking great.
You guys are great. Dudesy is the podcast. I was fascinated. It is next level. It drops what every Tuesday, wherever you get like ours.
Yeah, wherever you get them.
Do you have a Dudesy merch?
We do. We have Dudesy merch. It's all it's all available through all the Dudesy channels. You can just go to You could go to linktree.com/Dudesy, has all the Dudesy things, where to get it, you can watch it on YouTube and then all the podcast platforms. Yeah.
And also watch White Lotus because
Yes.
the next season is coming up from Acapulco.
Yeah. White Lotus in Acapulco, where Jennifer Coolidge and Eugenio Derbez kill Gary Sinise. It's going to be an interesting season.
You just spoiled the season.
Chad, do you have something that you want to, Acapulco is the show? Is there something that you want to plug?
I do another podcast called Game of Roses that's all about The Bachelor and reality dating games where we break it down like a sport statistically. We wrote a book called How to Win the Bachelor that a player was found reading by the producers last season and they buried that story. But I've been coaching players to infiltrate the show for the past 3 years.
She's been coaching players.
And
Are you
we've
serious?
been very successful with that, yeah.
What do you
That
mean?
is
Wait, before we go,
It's
Amazing.
nuts. It's crazy.
tell me what you mean. You know there
I've
is a
said-
way to win?
Yeah, we've analyzed we did a thing called the Hyper Binge, where we watched every episode from season 1 to season 25 at the time on 2x speed, meticulously recorded every tear, every kiss, everything you should do in a situation of a steal, group date, forced violence, group date, forced nudity, group date, whatever. And we came up with essentially a mathematical theorem about how you can progress far in the show. And I've been training players in secret to use it, and it has worked very well.
you've been training players in
Can you
secret?
tell us people who have been trained by you and how far they went?
The
No,
only
the
one that I
Dudesy
can
NDA.
tell you about, I've made the deal with all the players because the producers are not happy that we're doing this.
You're like a card counter for The Bachelor.
Essentially, yeah. So I can't reveal any of the Bachelor players because they're all still under contract in one way or another. They may appear on Paradise. They may come back in successive seasons. But I did train to go into The Bachelor, and she wound up not doing it. Taylor Hale, who won last season of Big Brother.
Wait, you trained her how to win The Bachelor or The Bachelorette.
It would have been The Bachelor.
The
She would
Would have been The
Bachelor.
Bachelor, and she won
Big Brother.
Big Brother.
Yeah.
So do you find that the same implementation of skill sets are good for either show?
Yeah, with some variation, but yeah, reality TV generally has a kind of like similar structure regardless of what the game is, but the dating game specifically, especially Bachelor, has a very rote pattern that you can follow all the way to the end. And it's basically about manipulating the producers to get them to write you a long season arc and then kind of to manipulate them to give you a good edit as well.
And is there something you can say in short form that we can, as viewers, look at? Like,
Sure. It's all about your Instagram. From the moment you send in your application, a producer is looking at your Instagram, and they are literally writing the script for who you will be in the next season when they cast you. So make sure your Instagram conveys exactly the type of character you want to be. If you want to be a villain, which I don't recommend in the modern era, make your Instagram kind of villainous. If you want to be a 4TRR, or we call it 4TR, for the right reasons player, make it that. Whatever you want to be, make your Instagram that, and they'll make you that in the
That
show.
always makes me laugh when they go for the right reason. Like they always go, I don't think you're here for the right reason. Like going on a national reality show to really find love, to really find a soulmate, doesn't seem like that's the right thing to do.
Well, it's only happened, technically speaking, once in the history of The Bachelor. Season 17, Sean Lowe married his ring winner, Catherine Giudice. But we've seen it happen in Bachelor.
No, the first one, what's her name?
Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Trista Sutter.
Yeah.
She married Ryan Sutter.
Yeah.
And there have been some other bachelorettes to marry their ring winners too. Desiree Hartsock did it, but in Bachelor, only Sean Lowe has done it. And you have two other bachelors who married their second choice, their runners-up, after dumping the ring winner on national television. Jason Mesnick and Ari Lyondike, of course.
We were
Of course. Of course.
Sorry, I have encyclopedic knowledge of reality television.
You need to go on Nick Vile's podcast.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Why?
But,
Why?
He doesn't like you?
Stories for another time. Nick Vial is very much a what we call a fence player. He is not affiliated legitimately with the show anymore, but he gets a lot of favors from them, so he has to kind of mind his P's and Q's about what he says. We are very definitely on the other side of that. We are trying to analyze the game for what it is, a game, expose it as a game, and win that game.
Wasn't there a show that came out it was a scripted show about The Bachelor that was really showing like how production manufactured the whole show? I'm sure The Bachelor didn't like that.
Yeah, it was called Unreal. The woman who created it was an ex-producer on The Bachelor from, I believe she worked seasons 3 through 7.
So now that we know you, if my son Alex, who is here, can he win? Can you get him to win? I'd
have to look at his Instagram.
Can I enroll him in your...
Look at his Instagram. Pull up his Instagram right now. Let's pull up his Instagram.
Oh, no. Only if you're comfortable with this. I don't want to do a cold read on your Instagram unless you're ready
he's
for this.
comfortable.
I think he's comfortable.
He's not going to sue
It's
you.
public. It's public.
Yeah, he wouldn't have put it on Instagram if he didn't want the world to see it. Here we go. This is my single son, who has been asked to be on. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
So what are you taking from it?
I'm not getting a good sense of who this would be as a character in The Bachelor.
He's riding a horse.
Yeah, he's riding a horse.
He's riding a motorcycle.
It's definitely not giving influencer vibes at all. These don't look like professional model shots. The beard in those pictures is extreme. Okay, shaving it off though. Was this for charity possibly?
No.
Or was this
no?
Okay.
No, it's just for a chance.
I would say Love Is Blind is a better shot for you. No shade thrown. I'm simply telling the truth. This is not like if you want to get on Bachelor, you need to look at an Instagram by a guy named Dale Moss. That's the prototype. You have to be
not these pictures. These two pictures
no.
couldn't get him on The Bachelor.
I don't
Dale
believe
Moss.
so.
Let's see what Dale Moss has.
I know
Let's
who
look up
Dale Moss is.
Do you? I don't.
You need to be an ex-college football starting player in a D1 school, potentially an ex-NFL player.
How about that one?
Well, what about this?
Now we're getting somewhere.
Will likes this one.
That's definitely not a picture you'd want to show producers to get into The Bachelorette as a player.
What about that? You're a good family man.
Yeah,
Go to Dale Moss.
Go to Dale Moss. I want to see the difference between Dale Moss and my son.
I know who that is.
Listen, my apologies for all this. I don't.
Why are you apologizing? This is kind of interesting.
This is so interesting to me. I'm a huge
and
reality
our
TV
and we have
fanatic.
We have a big reality TV following.
No, we don't. They did not follow you.
I think
they hate you.
The Bravo people love
They hate you.
Bravo, obviously one of the linchpins in modern reality TV. All the housewives.
Well, we had Tom Sandoval on.
I know. I saw some of that. I mean, that whole thing is insanity. That's the biggest story in reality TV, and there have been some big ones. Like
maybe you can answer me what I was asking him.
Oh, Dad, just let it go.
I'll let it go. Oh, so this is. Yeah. Wait, is this my son's? No.
He was with Claire Crawley,
He broke the game. Season 16 of Bachelorette. He came in and
they
broke
were
the game
pissed
within
at her.
Exactly.
Why?
4 episodes in, she decided to leave the show with this man. There
she
were
didn't even play the game.
certain circumstances though.
They were there for the right reason. They fell in love.
Well, they're no longer together. I mean, everybody's on a scale of for the right reasons to for the wrong reasons. Everybody's in there somewhere. But this season 16 of The Bachelorette, was shot immediately after the pandemic. And so they had a 6-month production hiatus. In that time, Claire Crawley knew who her contestants were going to be. She started looking at all of them on social media. She fell in love with this guy parasocially. So as soon as he walks out of the limo, she literally says, "That's my husband." And 4 episodes later, she's leaving the show. They had to bring in Tayshia Adams to salvage the rest of the season and basically had her date Claire Crawley's dregs with a few new guys added. And that was the first and only season to have 2 bachelorettes in it.
No, there was one where the first episode the guys were picking between the 2 bachelorettes.
Well,
and
that was Caitlin Bristow and I forget now, God, what was the name of the other bachelorette? But the guys had to choose between them on night 1. This also happened in Bachelor season 6 with Byron Velvick and Jay Overby.
I'm so into this.
You guys
I'm
sit
so
here.
into it. No, it's okay. I just need to listen to your podcast. I'll
Sure.
listen to it.
What is that?
Fantastic.
What's the name of that podcast?
It's called Game of Roses.
Game of Roses.
Yeah.
Wherever podcasts are available. When does
Wherever
that,
they're available.
Where does that drop? Every
That's on Tuesdays and Fridays.
Can I be on it?
Absolutely.
I don't know anything about that.
You had to stop saying you don't know anything about stuff and then wanting to be on podcasts about it.
I got myself in a lot of trouble. I'm in a lot of trouble. Will, how do you feel about the Game of Roses?
I love it. It is absolutely. It's mind blowing to me how he's broken it down like a sport and now has people infiltrating it. You know, and that him and his partner in the podcast, Lizzie, have written a fucking book about it.
Is the book available?
Yeah. How to Win the Bachelor. And this past season 27, players were caught by producers reading this book while they were shooting, and the producers disappeared it from all common knowledge.
What does that mean, disappeared it? I've never
They
heard
told
that.
all the players in the show. The producers of The Bachelor currently, after Long Gale left, he was the executive producer up until season 23. The power vacuum that he left has created this environment where the producers are now essentially using a stranglehold to control everything in the show. So the system exists where you go into the show, there's a narrative created by the producers. If you try to go against it, you're out of the show immediately. They threaten lawsuits if you want to talk about what really happened. And then they have this feeder system of other podcasts that are official Warner Brothers Bachelor Nation podcasts, Happy Hour, Clickbait. There used to be another one that's now gone. They then send the players on those podcasts to uphold the narrative. And so the narrative is, this book doesn't exist.
Wait, how come you guys on Dudesy get a cease and desist?
Right?
From Tom Brady, but The Bachelor doesn't cease and desist you?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they could cease and desist us for. We simply watch the show and write about it and talk about it in an academic way. You know, kind of like I liken it to what baseball writers were doing in the early 1920s, where they were coming up with new metrics to describe the game, like RBI, ERA. Those things didn't exist before sports writers really analyzed the game and said, these metrics matter and you can use them to win games. We're literally doing that in The Bachelor.
Are you married?
No, but I have a girlfriend who lives with me and does not watch Bachelor.
But did you ever try to get on? Like, would you ever, because you know how to win?
Well, I think I'm too old. And again, you've seen Dale Moss's Instagram. That's what you're up against if you're trying to get into The Bachelorette.
But there's also, and Chad, you break this down a lot on the show.
Yeah.
There's also these, are they called limo entrances?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you could play these limo entrances to your strength and still get in there.
No.
For example,
They're not fucking casting a 47-year-old guy in The Bachelorette.
No, they had a new series that was for, wasn't it 40 and up?
There is a seniors coming up.
Oh, it's
There's
55.
seniors
Sorry.
coming up.
I'm caught in the
You're
middle.
right in the middle.
I can't do it. I'm too young for the old show, too old for the young show.
Cough in my direction.
so long as Laura's okay with it and you guys have, you understand it's just entertainment and you're doing it for the
Have a
wrong
mask.
reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have a
don't know.
fun limo entrance and
No, I could never be on the show. But I would love to, at one point, have almost full control, like 100% coaching of all 30 players in a season. And I think 2 to 3 years away from that. This upcoming...
Are you being serious? Do you
Yeah.
think you can control that show and make it a better show?
100%. We just did an episode called How to Save the Bachelor. It's literally the show is sinking. Like, let's be real about this. It's had a lot of controversy in the last 3 to 4 years.
Right.
Its ratings are plummeting, as is all network television. But right now, culturally speaking, in terms of the dating games, Love is Blind, Perfect Match, the show's kinetic content is making for Netflix are the only ones that matter. They have gobbled up the Bachelor audience, and it's largely because the Bachelor's clinging to this old model. This past season 27, they brought back Sean Lowe from season 17 of The Bachelor. This is 10 years ago, and said, this is what we want. We want another one of these. It's a decade gone. You can't have that. Your shit has to look like Love is Blind now. It's got to at least be that good. You have to understand that social media is a valuable and important part of what reality TV is. The producers of Bachelor try to strangle it out of existence. If you even mention the word Instagram, fuck you, you're gone. They immediately eliminate you. They make a villain out of you. You lose hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers like Brennan Marias did. They just don't quite understand, I think, what reality TV has become.
Is that The Bachelor or is that the network?
It's The Bachelor. The network, I think, is like just kind of chugging along. Bachelor still wins its night on network TV, so they still comparatively at least can charge the highest ad rates of anybody. So I think they're like, yeah, whatever, everything's good. But it's the creative ideas behind the show that I think really at this point are detrimental to it. They just simply don't understand how to present their lead as a hero figure that we can all identify with anymore. They've turned the show into kind of like a torture chamber. They think that misery equates to, in quotes, drama, and it doesn't. Like, we don't want to see people crying and asking producers to leave in every episode. We want people that look like they're having fun on a fun vacation, getting to do this crazy thing that we all wish we could do. And that's just not what the show is anymore, unfortunately.
So do you have an idea where you can replicate something like The Bachelor and make it better?
100%.
So let's produce it.
Ready to do it. The show is ready to go, as am I.
Oh, you have an idea?
100%.
But you're not going to write it right now.
What's that?
But you're not going to write it right now.
No writers. It's
reality
reality.
TV. I'll 100% do this show. We'll talk after this. If you're interested.
Will, I love you. I've loved you for years.
Love you, sir.
I just met you, Chad. I'm starting to love you, but not in a.
Not in an AI kind of way?
Yeah.
No, but in the way of maybe I can exploit his expertise.
Absolutely. Please exploit away. I've been a huge fan of yours for as long as I can remember, since a little kid.
Well, I'll keep watching Dudesy. I'm worried about the future of the world. Thank you for... Well, I am. You guys work for a secret... What?
Nothing.
That's not a good ending?
No, it's okay. Go for it.
I think we did a lot of good stuff today. We unearthed the mayhem behind The Bachelor. We've made people laugh. But most of all, we've made people learn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This has been educational.
Very knowledgeable.
We hopefully sucked Wayne Brady into a lawsuit with us.
You know what my biggest weakness is on this podcast is ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What a treat.
Oh, shit.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
That was
great.
fun.
That was a
awesome.
blast. Thanks.